Welcome to the first part of my three-part Bass Music 2022 Roundup series. I'm your host, GriimYT, and in this series I'll be counting down some of my favorite bass music projects of 2022, and in this video I'm going to start it with my top 5 favorite bass music albums of 2022. There was a lot of great bass music projects that came out this year or this past year, some of which I reviewed on my channel, some of which I didn't, and so I figured I would go through all my favorite stuff from this year in a little three-part series. In this video, I'm going through my top 5 favorite bass music albums of 2022. I did listen to quite a bit. I reviewed some on my channel, so there's a few I got to a little late, but I think that this list is full of great music, and I'm very excited to count these projects down. So without further ado, let's go. So coming in at number 5, we have Subtronics with his debut album Fractals. This album came out in January of last year, so literally right around a year ago. It was one of the first albums I listened to that year. I also reviewed it on my channel, and I actually did very much enjoy this album, a lot more than some of his other projects. Subtronics I'm a big fan of. I love some of his EPs, the Screamsaver EP, the Cyclops Army EP, his Black Label EP, I think it's called the Wook Laser EP. So it was only time for him to do a full-length album, and I think this album is great. It's got some cool chill songs, it's got some really heavy, nasty songs, it's got some great stuff. I think some of my favorites are definitely Tuba Demon, Cabin Fever was great. I also loved Funk, Cyclops Rocks, and the Take Flight VIP was very, very cool as well. And there's also just a bunch of other tracks I really liked. So it was overall a great album, a great start for him. I did review the remixes recently on my channel. Those were also awesome. So yeah, let's see what else he releases this year. But last year, that album, very, very cool. Coming in at number 4, we have another album I reviewed recently, Must Die's Feral Fantasy. Must Die is an artist that I do also enjoy a lot, and he was also the last release on Never Say Die Records, which I think definitely makes sense. Not only was he one of the OGs back in 2013 and 14, I mean, his name is Must Die, Never Say Die, I could see why they went with him. However, it's a shame that the label shut down because this album would have fit perfectly after Crisis Vision, and that's kind of what I think everybody was comparing this to, is Crisis Vision, because the fact that he released this literally just a year after Crisis Vision is pretty interesting. If I were to compare them, I like this one a little bit more. They both have a lot of different genre experimentation. They both have many different sounds, but I just think this one was better. I like the songs a lot more here, but both albums are great. Crisis Vision is a classic, really great, and also has some of my favorite bass music remixes ever on it. It's so good. But this album was great too. I loved the track, I think it was called New York, was pretty good. I loved the track Violence, Move I Make, but I will say it's a guilty pleasure, but my favorite track is definitely the one with Lil Texas, Gagged and Bound. I love their combination here. They both have that aggressive, abrasive sound. It works perfectly. Just such a high energy song, and yeah, I think that they were a great combo. So yeah, overall, really cool album. Will we get remixes of this? Maybe, we'll have to see, but this album was very cool. So, coming in at number 3, we have an album that I reviewed more in the middle of the year, back in April. That is Eptic's The End of the World. This is the debut album from Eptic. Another great bass music project here. He's another artist that I'm very glad released an album like Subtronics. I'm a major Eptic fan. I love his Never Say Die stuff. I love some of his more mainstream songs, like the one he did with Marshmello, the one he did with DJ Snake. Great artist, and this album I was also extremely excited for because there's an ID that I heard on YouTube between Eptic and Dylan Francis. That song is so good, and I was super excited, and turns out it was out on this album, which is very cool. And some of the other tracks were great. Ultimate Flex, To the Grave. I really liked the track with the Hole, Detonate. That one was awesome, really, really great. So overall, it was a great album and very cool little project for Eptic. He might have some more songs to make another album, maybe. Like Must Die released 2 albums like in the past couple years. Eptic might release another album this year, maybe even next year. But I really liked this project a lot. It was great, and overall, just a very, very solid album from him. Alright, coming in at number 2, we have Sudden Death with Void Volume 2. This I got to much later than many people, and actually when it came out back in, I think it was March. That's why I didn't review it on my channel. I listened to this back in like May or April because I was a little late to the Sudden Death party, but I did check out this album because I heard of him, but I never really got into his style, so I checked out this album just to see what it was like, and this is what really brought me to him. This project, I will say, is probably the best bass music album this year. Now remember, this is my favorite bass music albums, okay? So this is not number one, but if this was the top 5 best bass music albums, this would easily be number one. The quality of music here, the atmosphere it brings, the amount of time and effort that went into this project is so clear to me and so well done. It is just incredible. Sudden Death, I really did like his old Never Say Die stuff, the Black Label EP Spell Jam, some of his other songs on there. The track he did with Yax, Rock Like This, for Never Say Die Volume 5, it's awesome. His Junk World EP, he had some great stuff, but then when he released the Void Volume 1 EP and then Void 1.5, he really found his own sound. And then we have Void Volume 2, which is just a really high quality body of work, really atmospheric, really entrances you in this world, full of great songs. I think my 3 favorite is Laughing Track, I do like Eidolon Hex, and I think it was called Dream Sequence. Those 3 songs are probably my favorite. Awesome stuff, but incredible album, and yeah, I can't wait to see what he comes up with this year. So, a little honorable mention that I had to throw in here is an album that I did listen to this year, but I didn't post a review of, Taylor Swift's new album, Midnights. Yes, I did listen to this album, and I felt bad because my friend who's probably watching this is a massive, massive Taylor Swift fan, and he told me about the album. He's like, I should listen to it, and I said, okay. So I listened to the whole album. I actually listened to it with my mom because she was also a Taylor Swift fan, and I have to say, it was great listening to this also because, you know, obviously it's not bass music at all, but it was a nice little break compared to all the bass music albums and EPs and stuff I listened to. Listen to something more mainstream like this. And Taylor Swift's a great artist. I really like her style. I love her, you know, songwriting. She's really talented. One of the really, like, few really talented songwriters left, I think. A lot of them really don't make music anymore, or they don't release stuff, but she's still very consistent, so great artist. Not my kind of style, though, you know, her songs have a different sound, but she's really talented, and I could see why her stuff is so popular. I mean, this album is, like, major. It's all over the place. And I did like it, so I could have posted a review on my channel, but I didn't, kind of because I was just lazy, but it was a great album. I did enjoy it, and yeah, it was very cool that she released it this year. It was a nice break from all the bass music stuff, so I'm glad I listened to it. I thought I would throw it in here just to give it justice, but yeah, pretty nice. Here we are, guys. Number 1, my favorite bass music album. Let me rephrase that again. My favorite bass music album of 2022. And I know a lot of people are going to fire at me in the comments, so go right ahead, but if I was putting any album in this spot, it would definitely not be accurate. My favorite bass music album of 2022 is Excision's Onyx. And the reason is because I have not, first of all, I haven't listened to any other album as much as this one. Like, I've revisited this album so much. On top of that, I haven't had this much fun listening to a bass music album the whole rest of the year. Like, I had so much fun listening to this album, and every other album was great, but I had so much fun listening to this. I really did. I had so much fun. It was such a blast because Excision's music, I know it's not, you know, super creative. Like, Sudden Death's album blows this one out of the water in basically every way. But this album, it's almost like listening to, like, Playboi Carti. It's like a guilty pleasure. This is also why I put it up here. It's like the biggest guilty pleasure. I know the songs all sound the same. They have the same ideas. They're super basic. But I just think that overall, it's just such a fun album to listen to, and the songs themselves, the first track, Decimate, the track with Sullivan King, the track with Heritage, the track with Company, Osiris, by the way, probably was my number 1 favorite solo Excision song ever. I just think that song is insane, so he needs to write more stuff like that. But the rest of it, it's just so fun. I know it's very mindless and it's just heavy dubstep to headbang to, but I think it's fun. It's such a guilty pleasure of mine, but I had to put it in here. I just loved it so much. There is not an album that I've enjoyed as much as this one. And that's crazy because there's albums that are so much more high quality, but I just had so much fun listening to this, and I still have fun listening to it. So, if I put anything else in here, I would definitely be lying, so that's why it's here. Number 1, Excision's album, Onyx. And with that, we round off the video. That is all of my favorite bass music albums of 2022. This is a short video. I did the top 5. The next video will be my top 10 favorite EPs of 2022. There's much more to talk about there. I mean, there's a lot of EPs that came out this year that I enjoyed, so that will definitely be coming out soon. But yeah, I figured I would do this video to talk about some albums. And yeah, next is EPs, and then the final video will be about singles. That was going to be a big video, so watch out for that. But yeah, I figured I would talk about my favorite bass music albums first, and then we'll go to the EPs next. And yeah, with that, I close the video. Let me know what your favorite bass music album was in the comments. Is it one that I didn't listen to? You know, is it one that's not on the list? Let me know what your favorite one was, and if you leave a hate comment, I'm probably going to ignore it because I don't care. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later. Peace.